After 12 years, I cheated on my boyfriend with my boss. First and foremost, my partner and I are perfectly okay with not being officially married right now. We are in every other way, physically, emotionally, financially, and so on. We've been together since I was 16 years old. Over the past year or so, he has entirely lost interest in having with me. I know he's still because I saw him pinching one off in the bathtub and because there is porn on our computer. I'm not always effective when I hurl myself at him. We used to have every day when we were teenagers, but now I'm fortunate to have once every 4-6 weeks. I persuaded myself that he does it even then to get me to leave him alone. There might be a variety of factors influencing our lives. He began taking ADHD medication around 2 years ago, and one of the negative effects is decreased desire. I'm now attempting to recover from an episode of depression that began approximately a year ago. We are both financially strained and enrolled in school, or so I thought. Communication has always been a strong element in our relationship. I told him I wanted to have more, and he said he'd try. Nothing occurs when I jump on him. I wait for him to come to me, but he never does. He refuses to quit taking his medications or even test a new brand. I've also informed him that I didn't get melancholy, or is it disappointment, until we stopped having on a regular basis, but he thinks it doesn't help. So, in the previous 6 months or so, I've attempted to pretty myself up, dropped weight, and done other things that make me happy. I'd want to believe that our lack of is due to his stress, but then why is he without me while I'm in the house? This time, my conversation with him hasn't helped. He refuses to work while in school undergrad, so I had to take a horrible part-time job while writing my thesis for a master's degree. I found my employer quite beautiful very immediately. I know, horrible decision, but I had no intentions to do anything about it. I've been in a relationship for 12 years, and it never occurred to me. We began kidding about at work and enjoying one other's company a few months ago. Tension started to build, but I assumed it was just me, so no concerns, just my lustful imagination, right? The weather recently turned severe while I was at work, and the roads were horrible. I work at a hotel, therefore those who had to work the following day were put up for the night. Because we both had to work, he asked me to his room for a drink before I went to mine. We ended up conversing for many hours and becoming. He lured me, and I fell for it. It was the most enjoyable and satisfying I'd had in years. I'm ashamed of myself for having so much pleasure. I've never considered myself a cheater, and I know that if my partner found out, it would be the end of our relationship. My employer wants more, and I'm confused. This guy is a wolf, and he is my kryptonite. I told him I had to keep away from him, but I don't want to and doubt I could. I can't recall the last time I lusted for someone so intensely, not really emotionally attached as far as I know. I feel trapped in a filthy Lady Gaga song. I had to suppress all I had simply to keep from jumping his bones at work yesterday. My partner and I are going through a hard patch, perhaps worse than I imagined, right now, and I want to let you know that we can get through it. It just isn't occurring right now, and who knows when it will. Of course, I still adore him, but I've never been put to the test in this way before. Aside from the selfish habit of refusing to work and refuse, my partner is normally quite kind to me. What do you do when you have a Mr. Right Now in front of you practically every day at work who is perfectly okay with the fact that you have a boyfriend? I don't believe I'm searching for justification for my actions, just some ideas. So much for being the lovely girl down the street. More information. Workplace relationships have occurred previously, but no one seems to care. Even worse, I've heard the GM, not the boss in the debate, make a joke about becoming a matchmaker for individuals at work. Aside from a weekly check to help pay the bills, my employment has little to do with my chosen career path, thus I will leave if necessary. I'm not going to play the boss, since I'm very sure we both understand that there is no emotional bond here. Despite what people may believe, I really adore my guy. I had no intention of doing this at all, but I allowed it to happen. I understand that I have to live with it. He's made mistakes in the past as well, and I'm not sure whether telling me about them helped me. Update. This morning, I attempted to chat to my partner about our life. He completely disregarded me. When I inquired why he wasn't answering, he said he had to go to school. He just had 2 hours till his first class. There has been no advancement. I also had a lengthy conversation with my supervisor last night. We were debating our ethical slip, and he stated that he followed Oscar Wilde's moral code. The only way to get rid of temptation is to submit to it. He then inquired whether I had any plans on Friday. So, no progress there either, although I must admit, it's pleasant to be sought by an attractive guy, regardless of his true motives. A plan to get out of both circumstances is in the works. It remains to be seen if I am effective in either assignment. Story 2. Girlfriend of 4 years cheats on me with my best friend. So, as the title indicates, my now ex-girlfriend and ex-best pal threw my idiotic heart through a meat grinder. A little backstory. I met my ex when I was 19, and everything seemed to be going swimmingly. She was kind and loving, and she seemed to be the ideal human being. She's always telling me how much she loves me, how I'm everything she's ever wanted, and so on. A few days into our relationship, I bring her to my closest buddy, a man I've known since we were babies. We were born a month apart and had been inseparable since we were toddlers, and everything goes swimmingly. He said we were ideal for one another and that he'd be there for us. They began to get to know each other over time, as my closest buddy and I would constantly hang together, and they became good friends. I was pleased that they were getting along so well, and everything was wonderful. Fast forwards 4 years, and everything was okay, or so I thought. My partner began to grow more distant, not returning phone calls, not responding to messages, or responding with one-word responses, and so on. I was perplexed since we hadn't fought, despite the fact that we had disagreements, which were generally about little matters, like who ate the last slice of pizza. Not only did she start ignoring me, but so did my closest buddy. Every time I requested him to meet, he had an excuse not to show up, either stating he was too busy or that he was already somewhere else. This continued on for a time, and I began to believe something was wrong, but I dismissed it as stupidity. But oh, was I in for a shock. Today, I was doing errands and had to take a different route than usual. When I finished my errands, I hopped on my motorcycle, and as I was going through, I saw my friend's motorcycle in the parking lot. I phoned him and asked where he is. He says he is with his sister at her house. We make light chat and then hang up, so that was a lie. I glance around and see him at the neighborhood park. He had on a custom jacket I bought him for his birthday last year. The fact that he was with a female seemed strange. He wasn't in a relationship. I moved closer and out of sight, which turned out to be the worst mistake I'd ever done. I witnessed him kissing and snuggling with my girlfriend. After a time, I decided to face them. So I approached the park bench they're sitting on and asked if I may join on the fun. They reacted like a deer caught in headlights. They remained silent for a while, and I decide to break the quiet. I inquire as to how long this has been going on and why. They first attempt to deny everything and blame it on a misunderstanding, but when I tell them I witnessed everything and to quit the nonsense, he begins apologizing. I question them again, and he tells me that they've been having an affair for the previous 2 years and didn't have the nerve to tell me. And she had the audacity to tell me that it was simply an emotional affair before, and that they only began having S** X a few months ago. She then wanted to say something, but I just put up my hand and got up. I was seething and wanted to attack him, but all that came out of my lips was nice. And I rushed out, hopped on my motorcycle, and rode straight home. When I got home, the seriousness of the situation hit me, and I just broke down. Here was the guy I considered my brother, who'd been with me my whole life, and the girl I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with, and they did this to me. After a few hours, both of them began bombarding my phone with calls and texts, apologizing and begging me to give them time to explain. I'm not replying to either of them because I don't have the mental power to speak to them right now and could say or do something I later regret. I don't know what to do. Everything seems meaningless. Was everything a lie? I don't understand anything, which is why I'm here, a shattered guy who was stabbed in the back by the 2 people he trusted the most in life, and for whom I would have sacrificed my life up until a few hours ago. Any advice would be much appreciated.